রেডিও গান বাক্স অ্যালাইভ 90.5 এর আজকের এপিসোডে আমাদের একটা ছোট্ট ইন্টারভিউ করার জন্য আমরা যাকে স্বাগত জানিয়েছি, আমার স্ক্রিনেই পাশে তাকে দেখতে পাচ্ছেন, তার নাম হচ্ছে মঙ্গিরিশ, মনমোহিনী ইভেন্টস এর। এই ছোট্ট ইন্টারভিউতে আমরা আগামী একটা অনুষ্ঠানের সম্পর্কে তার কাছ থেকে জানবো। আয়োজকদের পক্ষ থেকে তিনি আমাদের সাথে জয়েন করবেন, মঙ্গিরিশ আমাদের সাথে জয়েন করবেন সেই অনুষ্ঠানটার ব্যাপারে জানার জন্য। আপনারা জানেন যে মনমোহিনী ইভেন্টস এর সিডনির 4টা আলাদা আলাদা শহরে রাহুল শর্মার কনসার্ট হবে 4টা আলাদা দিনে। শুরু হচ্ছে এই 30শে সেপ্টেম্বর থেকে এবং তারপরে 1 অক্টোবর, এবং অন্যান্য সিটিতে অন্যান্য দিনে এই কনসার্টগুলো অনুষ্ঠিত হবে তার প্রতিষ্ঠান। এবং এই কনসার্ট থেকে আমরা কি কি এক্সপেক্ট করতে পারি এই ব্যাপারে মঙ্গিরিশের সাথে আজকে আমি কথা বলবো। হাই মঙ্গিরিশ।
Hello, I understood 1%, but rest I'm sure you said everything.
All right. So, welcome to Gan Baksho. Let's
Thank
talk
you.
about your organization first and yourself first. So how to make the connection?
Okay, so we basically organize Indian classical concerts in Australia. So far, we've done only vocal concerts. This is the first time. So we've done 5 to 6 different concerts of different artists. You were there in last time when we brought Kaushiki Chakravarti ji
I was there,
to
yes.
Australia. And we did Sydney concert. Of course, Melbourne and Sydney were the main hubs, as you know. But this time around, we thought that we've done a lot of vocal concerts. Now this is the time where we introduce instrumental concerts. So we thought that who is the best person to start with? Pandit Rahul Sharma, who is also a son of late Pandit Shiv Kumar Sharma ji. So this time around, we are bringing him for Australia. So we are going to Melbourne, Sydney, Adelaide, and Perth. And yeah, this is what we are. So we basically do Indian classical concerts, and we cater to anyone who basically. So now the audience, when you say they are from Afghanistan, Pakistan, India, Nepal, Bangladesh, sometimes Sri Lanka, not too much, but pretty much Southeast Asia. And even sometimes last time when we did Kaushiki concert, I was surprised that there were a few Chinese people turn up, and I was
Chinese
like, "Did you book the group?"
Okay.
Chinese people?"
All
And
right.
I was like surprised. I
This
even
is
called them and
interesting.
said, "Did you book?" Exactly, and I was like, "Did you book this mistakenly?" And they said, "No, no, 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 no. We know who she is, and we're fan of her music." So I said, "Okay, perfect. Come along."
Okay,
That
so
was a
what are
nice
the
surprise.
dates of these concerts and which cities?
So 30th September, we are doing it in Melbourne. 1st of October, we are doing it in Sydney. Now, Sydney concert, as Gun Buck Show is pretty much, you guys are pretty much based in Sydney. So I'll give you a little bit more information about Sydney, if you don't mind.
Yeah, sure.
So Sydney concert is on 1st of October at 5 o'clock in Sir John Clancy Auditorium in UNSW. That is from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. It's a long weekend, I guess, in Sydney, so it should be, a good time and most of the families have time as well. Then we are going to Adelaide on 6th of October, which is Friday evening. And then 8th of October, we are having it in Perth.
All right. So let's talk about Rahul Sharma a little bit. Actually, the people who
Yes.
have understanding or have a little bit of knowledge about Indian classical music or music in general, they know Rahul Sharma very well. But there is a kind of musicians, I would say they are a bit niche. They are not like the mainstream or I mean, how do you define it? I don't know.
Yeah.
But
Understood.
clearly there is a difference between the musicians we see every day in large auditoriums, in cassettes, in CDs, in YouTube and everywhere. And then there is musicians like Rahul Sharma, who have been always there, who has a long legacy from Kashmir to Lucknow and the different gharanas in Punjab. Let's talk a little bit about them. They have a strong legacy, but this clear difference of taste but actually makes this kind of audience a bit different than others. What you cater, essentially. Give a little bit of background of Rahul Sharma and the projects he's doing, because at first he has this background of classical touch, and then he has connection with Western musicians like KennyG and others, and he has done a lot of jazz and collaborations throughout the world.
Look, Rahul Sharma, of course, when we talk about Rahul Sharma, we can't forget Pandit Shiv Kumar Sharma.
Yes.
Uh, the legend who unfortunately passed away is
Just few years
basically
back.
we call exactly he still is a pioneer of an instrument called santoor. Originally it comes from Afghanistan, and then it went to Kashmir, and then it also called 100 string instrument, which is bloody hard, to be honest with you.
Yes. Very
To
difficult.
just tune that instrument, it takes a lot of time for a student or someone who is learning. So there is a there is so much energy and so much riyaz goes into doing something such as that. Now, when a young generation or your or my age artist comes up, it's basically they want to experiment. They of course there is riyaz, they whatever the gurus have taught them for over the years, that legacy is of course there. But if you want to do something on your own, then you try to get out of that bubble and see that how we can mix up with different musicians. Now,
Right.
whether if it's a santoor player, there are some jazz festivals happening. So of course there are some things which are from Europe, there are some things from UK. So they want to tie up, collaborate, and see what how they can combine and probably do sort of a confluence thing. He has exactly done the same thing as you mentioned, KennyG and all the other artists. He has his recently he's performed for His Royal Highness Prince William and
Oh, okay.
Kate Middleton. So when I mean sometimes when you go too close to an artist, you feel an energy, you feel a different energy. Uh, I'll quickly tell you, when I went to Mumbai to meet him,
Hmm.
he took me to his house, of course, where Panditji and his mother is still there. She still lives there, and he gave me the tour of that house, and that house had a different vibrations altogether. It's you don't feel that quite
Actually,
often
I
every
I,
day.
I went to Pandit Ustad Bismillah Khan's house too, and it's
Here you
more of
go.
a museum than a house.
Exactly. Yes, you said it. You said it. And exactly
So,
the
what was
same.
your experience?
It was divine. That lady, I just went there. I didn't know that she's going to be there. She was running. She just came out from her room and she was running late for a yoga class. I put that as a little bit of short story on my Facebook as well, and people really loved it because it just heart to heart. Sometimes you feel a connection with someone,
Right.
and I even said to her that, ma'am, there is something different in your eyes. You look, I mean, it was a different energy in that room. It was different energy in that house. So she gave me also, the tour of the house and where he used, like Panditji used to do the riyaz and stuff. And there was a massive book of Panditji, and it says the Legend of Santoor, and she gifted me that, and she said, beta,
Wow.
this is for you. And it was even signed by Pandit Shiv Kumar Sharma ji. So I felt, at that point of time, I felt really blessed, saying that someone, because in that particular house, the most of the amazing artists from India and from Pakistan and from, of course, that part used to just do the jamming. So there is no, like, there is not, everything is open. They just used to practice, they used to have good time. And you could feel that, as you said, the legacy.
Mhm.
That's exactly the reason we named this tour as the Legacy Tour, because whatever the son is carrying is, of course, what the father has given him for whatever 20, 25, 30, 40 years of Riyaz. So that's exactly the reason we named it as the Legacy Tour. And I'm sure that whenever Rahul Bhai is performing in Australia, because last time when he came for WOMAD Festival in Adelaide in 2006. Uh, it's a sad part that not a single person from Australia has invited him once. Uh, I
And
don't
that's
know
where
how
your
this had
musical
happened.
philosophy comes, Mangirish, and it's actually a matter of joy and a matter of pride that someone has taken this initiative to bring this kind of musicians all the way from India. And last time when Koshiki's concert was happening, I can still remember that there was one instance where you um, actually mentioned that someone has told you that their last wish is to see Kaushiki
Yeah.
Chakraborty performing here in Sydney for the last time because he or she was a cancer patient, and just before 3 days of the concert, the person passed
Yes.
away. If you can share that
Yeah.
experience with us.
Yeah, so look, we were just coming out of COVID, and I did not want to do any concerts last year because everything was up in the air. I didn't know what was happening, whether the flights are going to come, the visas are going to be, issued, blah, blah, blah. So there were so many issues. And then in around June last year, I received a phone call of a Bengali person from Sydney. And he said, Beta, you remember just before COVID, you meant to do a concert with Koshiki. We were so looking forward. Is it possible if you can bring her this year? And I said, sir, to be honest with you, I'm not sure how the condition is of Australia, whether fly, blah, blah, blah. And he said, you know what? I'm going through my fourth stage of cancer, and my last wish is to listen to Koshiki Chakravarti live in Australia. Now, after that, you can't say anything. Uh, I was like, sir, I can't promise. Let me try. And the same evening, I called Didi up and said, Didi, this is, I didn't say, what is the background. I said, we're just thinking of doing a concert this year. Would October be? Because if you remember, we had a Cricket World Cup in Australia in October.
Yes.
And 23rd was the India-Pakistan cricket match in Melbourne. Now, if there is a cricket match, even in Bangladesh, even in Pakistan, even in Afghanistan, nobody's going to come for a concert, no
Yeah.
matter how great the artist is. So I was a bit scared. I said, I don't want to go to that 23rd, but if prior week, if you can make it. And fortunately, I don't know, it's destiny. She had those dates available. So we kept it for Melbourne 15th of October, and Sunday 16th, we did it in Sydney. And everything worked out well. So that person, fortunately, I mean, just before the concert, 3 days, there was a lady who called me up. She was again in Sydney, and she said, "My daughter, who is a cancer patient, was in UK, and she's basically we brought her back to Australia because she is again a cancer patient, and she would like to listen to Koshiki Chakravarti as well." Now, at that point of time, I did not know what to say because when people say that this is our last wish, when we don't know when till how far or how long we're going to live, uh, it makes you emotional. It makes you like, okay, there's something, there is something, some energy. So if a person is saying that this is my last wish, then you have to try your level best.
That's
And
right.
that's what we did. And fortunately, it worked out well. The other patient could see her live. The first one couldn't, unfortunately, but the second one could. So at least, if people, and that's what they say. If in Hindi they say, कुछ पाने की इतनी कोशिश करो तो पूरी कायनात उसको हासिल
तुम्हें
करने में
मिलाने की
लग
साजिश में
जाती
लग
है, that
जाती
sort
है.
of stuff. Absolutely, absolutely. And that exactly thing happened. So I'm fortunate that at least for the people who really like music, uh, we're trying at least 1% good thing in community and trying and spreading the joy of music.
Last time, I think there was a scope of a meet and greet with Koshiki. Did it happen? Actually, I wasn't there, so
It
I'm not
did.
sure.
It did. It did. It did.
What's your plan
So
this
around
time?
20. After the concert, we'll probably try to do it because we honestly don't have much time in our hand this time around.
Mhm.
And look, I'll be brutally honest with you. We are not bringing a Bollywood star. Okay. So the amount of people wish to come are very few, to be honest with you. It's not like we don't get amazing sponsors. There is no, a star
And
is
why
coming
your
up in.
philosophy is so different? I mean, every time so far, what I have seen in my experience, you have brought artists who are clearly different, who are not Bollywood stars, who are very niche. And you know very well that you will get very few people whose musical taste but is so different, and you're not focusing in money. Why is so? Why is the philosophy so different?
See, when we think, that's my problem, and I tell exactly the same thing to my wife as well. It's not the problem of people, or it's not the problem of society. It's problem with me. When I think of a concert, if there are, say, for an example, 600 people are turning up, then I book a concert venue which is 900.
Okay.
Okay. Now, there are people in the community who say, oh, if there are 600 people going to come, I might as well book only 550 so that we are sold out.
Right.
I don't want to make that sold out. I don't want to say that, oh, we are sold out and we are doing fantastic. No, there has to be a room for improvement. There has to be people coming up and say that, there is an opportunity, let's try and go out. So in my head, I don't want to make the concert. If it's sold out, well and good. But if it's not, then I'm absolutely fine, because in the word classical, there is class. So
True.
I know there are only people who enjoy this certain music are going to come, and it's not any, this is not a rap, this is not a Bollywood concert, this is not a Sonu Nigam or a famous personality where 5,000 people turn up. I know that, but I can tell you right now that my wish is one day in future we'll try to have 5,000 people for Kaushiki Chakravarti, Ustad Rashid Khan, and such artists.
That's beautiful. And I think there is some communication gap between people, because when we went to Kaushiki Chakraborty's concert, a lot
Mhm.
of people told us that you went there and we didn't even know. So this kind of community platforms, and all together we have to make some really good communications between these communities so that people can know about it better. I think this kind of rendezvous, what is the exact pronunciation of this? I don't know, but yeah, clearly this kind of chats and chit chats sometimes help people to understand more and get to know a bit more about what we are doing in the community. And seriously, a lot of people don't know that what exactly
Okay.
is happening in these communities. And actually there are
Look,
musicians and there are music enthusiasts and music lovers who has so
mhm.
much to deliver and who has so much to promise to this community, but still it's not happening. So where exactly this communication gap happens? What do you think?
Look, we try our level best with, because it's a certain budget we need to work on. Every single time my wife says that, if you're earning $10, you're spending 20. Um, and again, that comes to me. That's my fault. I'm not at all blaming anyone.
Okay.
It's just that probably it's I don't know. Some people consider us as a B grade. You know, it's not a A grade concerts. It's considered as very niche. So we come to the second level. We don't come to the first level. Now, irrespective of the level of the artist, because deep within we know that somebody who's doing 15, 16, 20 years, 20 hours riyaz, it's an amazing individual. But for a larger society or community, that person, like, I'll tell you a small example. When Ustad Rashid Khan was coming, 2018 to be specific, people called me and said that, is this the person who sung Aoge Jab Tum Sajna in Jab We Met? Now, of that artist, the introduction of our community is from a Bollywood song. There's nothing wrong in it. Okay. What I'm trying
Okay.
to
Yeah.
say is, this is how people perceive that, unless and until you have sung in Bollywood, you have sung in a known, and that's how, artists do. Like, this is how we know artists. So when we think of tabla, we think of Ustad Zakir Hussain as a god
Right.
of tabla.
Yes.
When we think of, the next upcoming, not upcoming, but the next person in a female artist in Indian classical, we think of Kaushiki Chakravarti. Now, those people who listen to little bit of classical knows who Kaushiki Chakravarti is. But when it's an outsider, they might have seen MTV's Lagi Lagi song, which Didi sung in MTV Coke Studio. Now, her introduction to those people is through that song, which is again nothing wrong. So when I was talking to Rahul Bhai, he is not on social media. Can you imagine? He is not.
Okay.
And the question what I asked him, in today's world, we are in 21st century, we are in 2023. How come an artist is not on social media? It's a very hard thing for me to digest, to be very honest with you. And he said me very simply saying that, भैया जरूरत ही नहीं है. There was a ठहराव.
They are people from different world, I think. Altogether, it's a different lifestyle, it's a different philosophy, and probably it's some other way of living, like normal people like you and me can ever imagine. But let's look forward to that, and let's wait just 2 more weeks to go for the concert. And
Yes.
I think the entire community will throughout uh, will thoroughly enjoy the concert and will benefit for good whatever causes they are here for. So thank you so much.
Yes.
Thank you, Mangirish. Let's wrap up
Most welcome.
here, and let's look forward one more time, the date, the venue.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Sure. So it's 1st of October in Sydney, at Sir John Clancy Auditorium in UNSW. Start time is 5 o'clock, 5 to 7 p.m. And the tickets, of course, you can visit Gun Buckshop, and they've got all the information there.
So in our comment section, you will get the link for the tickets. Grab your tickets now,
Yes.
and we will see you at the concert. Gun Buckshop family will be there for you. And
Thank you.
that's it. Thanks,
Thank you,
Mangirish.
Subhajit.
Thanks for
Really
joining with
appreciate
us.
that. Cheers.
So that was Mangirish.
Bye-bye.
And এই তো আমাদের আজকের আয়োজন এটুকুই ছিল। দর্শক মন্ডলী, দেখা হচ্ছে আপনাদের সাথে রাহুল শর্মার কনসার্টে। ততক্ষণ পর্যন্ত ভালো থাকবেন, সুস্থ থাকবেন। শুনছেন এতক্ষণ রেডিও গান বাক্স লাইভ 90.5 FM। আমি শুভজিৎ আপনাদের কাছ থেকে আজকে এখানেই বিদায় নিচ্ছি। ধন্যবাদ।